Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
1. Introduction. The morning started like many others. It felt quiet and peaceful in many parts of the world. People were beginning their day. They were doing normal things like going to work or school. The sky was blue, maybe gray in some places. Birds were singing or cars were driving. It was a typical day just like yesterday. But this peaceful feeling did not last long. Suddenly, important news came. The news was surprising. It was also worrying. It came from a region far away from many people. It came from the Middle East. The news was about two countries. These countries were Israel and Iran. They have had difficulties for a long time. Their relationship has been difficult for many years. There have been tensions. The tensions mean feelings of anger or disagreement between groups or countries. These tensions were not new, but on this day they became much, much bigger. The situation between the two countries became very serious. It reached a critical point. A critical point is a time when a situation becomes very dangerous or important, and something big is likely to happen. The news said that something big did happen. The old problems became a new, dangerous situation. The world heard the news and felt worried. People in many countries stopped their normal day. They listened to the news. They talked about what was happening. Why were they worried? They were worried about a bigger conflict. A conflict is like a fight or a war. They feared that this problem between two countries could become a problem for many countries. They feared a wider conflict, maybe even a big war that could affect many people and many places. The world felt nervous. People waited to see what would happen next. Would the situation get worse? Would other countries become involved? These were big questions. This story will tell you about these important events. It will explain what happened between Israel and Iran on that day. It will describe the actions that were taken by each side. It will also look at why these things happened. We will learn about the reasons behind the conflict. Furthermore, this story will show the impact of these events. Impact means the effect or influence something has. We will see how the events affected the people in Israel and Iran. We will also see how they affected other countries and the world. The story will explore the effects on peace and security in the Middle East and globally. It is a story about a moment when the world held its breath. 2. The attack begins. News quickly spread about a major attack. Israel attacked Iran early on Friday morning. Reports said the attacks hit important places inside Iran. These places were linked to Iran's nuclear program. Missile sites were also key targets. At a place called Natanz, where Iran works with nuclear material, people saw black smoke rising into the air. This is a very important nuclear enrichment facility. Israel also hit many radar stations and surface-to-air missile launchers in western Iran. These are systems used to defend the country from aircraft. This attack was described as very big and important. Perhaps the most significant attack Iran has seen since its war in the 1980s. Sad news came about important Iranian military leaders. The head of Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard, a general named Hossein Salami, was reported dead by Iranian state television. The chief of staff for all Iranian armed forces, Another general named Mohammad Bagheri was also confirmed dead by Iranian state television. Reports said other high-ranking military officers and scientists also lost their lives in the attacks. The Israeli military used a very large number of aircraft for this operation. Around 200 planes were part of the attack. They attacked about 100 different targets across Iran. Israel used special, advanced methods for the attack. They had small, unmanned planes called explosive drones placed inside Iran before the attack started. These drones were used to hit missile launchers at an Iranian base near Tehran, the capital city. Israel also put special precision weapons on vehicles in central Iran. These weapons were activated as the attack began to hit Iran's air defenses. The attack required many planes and careful planning. It showed the operation was large and used different kinds of tactics, hitting targets in different ways. The scale of the operation became clear as more details were reported. It was a complex mission hitting many critical sites related to Iran's military power and nuclear efforts. The Israeli military had to use its aircraft to their limits to reach the targets. It was not immediately clear if Israeli planes flew directly over Iran or if they fired missiles from outside its borders. People in Iraq reported hearing fighter jets flying overhead at the time of the attack. Israel had attacked Iran from over the border in Iraq before. This attack targeted important parts of Iran's military and nuclear work, showing the seriousness of the situation. The news of the attack and its scale spread quickly around the world. 3. Iran's quick reply. After the attack on its land, Iran decided to reply quickly. It was an immediate answer. Iran launched a large number of flying robots called drones. These drones were sent towards Israel. Reports said there were more than 100 drones in this group. Sending so many drones at once is a specific type of attack. The drones started their journey. They flew over many miles. Their path took them over the skies of countries near Israel and Iran. People in these neighboring countries saw the objects flying above them. The countries of Iraq and Jordan officially stated that they saw the Iranian drones flying over their airspace. Airspace means the sky above a country's land. Seeing military objects flying over their country made people in these places worried. Israel was ready for a possible answer from Iran. Israel has special systems to protect its sky. These are air defense systems. They are built to find and stop rockets or drones that are coming to attack. When the Iranian drones were seen, Israel's defense systems started working. Radar systems helped to see where the drones were. Then, other parts of the defense system tried to intercept the drones. To intercept means to stop something before it reaches its target. Israel's military later said that their defense systems were successful. They reported that they had stopped the drones. They said the interceptions happened outside of Israel's own airspace. This meant the drones were stopped before they could fly over Israeli cities or land. At first, it was not completely clear if every single drone was stopped. People waited for more information. Iran's most important leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, spoke about the situation. He talked about the attack that Israel made on Iran. He used strong words to describe the Israeli action. He called it a bad act and a crime against his country. He said that Iran would not be silent. He promised that Iran would give a very strong answer to Israel's attack. He used the phrase severe punishment. This showed how angry Iran was and that they planned to hit back hard. The quick reply from Iran with the drone attack showed that the conflict was getting more serious. Both countries had now attacked each other directly. This made the situation in the Middle East more dangerous. Countries around the world watched closely. They worried about what would happen next. The tension between the two nations was now very high. The drone attack was Iran's first big step in answering the Israeli action. It was a moment that many people feared. The path forward seemed unclear and full of risk for the region and beyond. 4. Reasons for action. Israeli leaders gave their reasons for the attack. They said it was a necessary action. They needed to stop a big and immediate threat. This threat, they explained, came from Iran's nuclear program. They believed Iran was very close to developing nuclear weapons. This possibility caused great worry in Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu was very clear about his view. He stated that Iran's nuclear program was not for peaceful purposes. He called it a direct danger to the survival of Israel. He emphasized that Israel had to protect itself from this potential destruction. For him, acting now was the only way to prevent this future danger. Worries about Iran's nuclear work had been increasing for many years. International agencies monitored Iran's activities. Reports showed Iran was increasing its ability to enrich uranium, which can be used for bombs. They were using advanced machines that could do this faster. This made countries like Israel feel more and more anxious. Past events also played a role in Israel's decision. Israel had taken actions before against things they saw as threats from Iran, including military sites and missile facilities. These past actions showed Israel's long-standing concern about Iran's power and intentions. The leaders felt that the danger had now reached a critical point. They said waiting longer would be too risky. Iran, on the other hand, maintains a different position. Iran states that its nuclear program is solely for peaceful uses. They say they need nuclear energy for electricity and for medical purposes. They say they are not trying to build nuclear weapons. They claim their activities follow international rules. However, Israeli leaders did not accept Iran's claims. They believed Iran was hiding its true goals. They looked at Iran's progress in enriching uranium and felt the danger was real. This strong difference in opinion was a key reason for the attack. Israel felt it was fighting for its future. They said the attack was a necessary step to prevent Iran from getting nuclear bombs. They believed the threat was real and very close. This was the main explanation given by Israel for why they decided to act at this time. 5. The world reacts. News of the attack spread quickly across the world. Many countries in the Middle East region spoke about the Israeli actions. They said the attack was wrong. Around the globe, leaders were worried. They called for peace right away. They told both sides, Israel and Iran, to stop fighting. They asked them to make the situation less dangerous. The world did not want the conflict to grow bigger. The United States government also reacted. They said they were not part of the attack. But they knew about it before it happened. The U.S. had told Israel that an attack might not be a good idea. They had talked about this when discussing Iran's nuclear program. Mr. Trump was the president of the United States at that time. His government said they were informed but not involved in the military action. Mr. Marco Rubio was the Secretary of State. He said that Israel took its own action. He also said that Israel believed the strikes were needed to protect itself. This is called self-defense. The U.S. government's main goal was to keep American soldiers and people in the region safe. Before the attack, the U.S. had shown some signs of worry. They moved some American diplomats from a city in Iraq. They also gave families of American soldiers in the Middle East a chance to leave the region if they wanted to. When the attack started, the U.S. Embassy in Israel told American government workers and their families to stay in a safe place until further notice. President Trump had a meeting with his top advisors about the situation. This meeting was with the National Security Council. They talked about what was happening and what to do next. The world was watching closely, hoping that the fighting would stop and peace would return. 6. Impact on people. The recent events had a big impact on the lives of ordinary people. In Israel, many citizens felt worried about the future. They thought there might be more conflict soon. Because of this fear, people started to prepare quickly. They went to supermarkets to buy important supplies. Things like bottled water and food that lasts a long time were popular items. People bought many of these things to keep at home. They also used phone messages to talk to friends and family. They shared advice on how to get ready. For example, they told each other to prepare their shelters. Shelters are safe rooms, often built under houses. People checked them and made sure they were clean and had necessary items. This shows how the fear of possible attacks changed people's normal daily routines and made them think about safety first. In Iran, the country's leaders spoke to the public about the attack. They called it a crime by Israel. An important leader, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, made strong statements. He promised that Iran would respond to the attack. These words were meant for the Iranian people. They likely caused different feelings among people. Some might have felt angry and supported a strong response. Others might have felt worried about what a response could mean for their safety and their families. The leader's message was clear. Iran would react to what happened. Across the region, there was growing concern for the safety of civilians. People in both Israel and Iran faced the possibility of more violence, but the worry was also felt in neighboring countries. People there watched the news carefully. They wondered if the conflict would get bigger and spread. The idea of a wider war made many people nervous. Everyone hoped that the situation would calm down soon to avoid more problems for ordinary families. The conflict also affected daily life in other ways. For example, the main airport in Israel, a place where many people fly every day, was closed for a time. This stopped many flights. People could not travel for work, holidays, or to see family. This shows how a military event can quickly stop normal life for many people. Even people from other countries felt the impact. For example, the United States government told its workers and their families in Israel to stay in safe places. They even offered some families the chance to leave the area if they felt unsafe. This shows the fear was real for many different people. The Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, also sent a message to the people of Iran. He said that Israel's fight was not against them. He said it was against the government of Iran, which he called a dictatorship. He said he hoped the Iranian people would be free one day. This message tried to make a difference between the government and the people. It shows that the leaders were also thinking about how the conflict affected ordinary people, even in the other country. The events had a deep and wide impact on the lives and feelings of many people in the region and beyond. 7. Nuclear concerns. After the recent events, people around the world thought more about Iran's nuclear work. There is an important international group called the International Atomic Energy Agency. Its job is to watch nuclear activities in different countries. The agency confirmed something important after the attack. One of the places Israel attacked was Iran's nuclear enrichment facility at Natanz. This facility is a place where Iran works with nuclear material. It is important for making nuclear fuel, which can be used for power. However, this material can also be used for making nuclear weapons. When the attack happened, some reports said black smoke was seen rising from the Natanz facility. The International Atomic Energy Agency is now watching the area very closely. They are checking radiation levels there. Checking radiation is important. It helps the agency know if there are problems or dangers after the attack. This monitoring is part of their work to ensure nuclear material is used safely. A big question many people are asking is, how close is Iran to building nuclear weapons? There are different ideas about this. It is a difficult question with no simple answer. Leaders in Israel say that Iran is a very serious danger. They believe Iran is getting close to having nuclear bombs. They say this possibility is a big threat to Israel's safety. But the United States has intelligence agencies. These are groups that collect information about other countries. The U.S. intelligence agencies have a different idea. They say that right now, Iran does not have a nuclear weapons program. They believe Iran does not have a plan to build nuclear weapons at this time. They also think that if Iran decided to build a nuclear weapon, it would take time. They believe it would take many months to build and test one successfully. Iran itself says its nuclear program is only for peaceful reasons. They say they do not want to build nuclear weapons. They say they only want nuclear energy for peaceful purposes, like making electricity for their country. Recently, the International Atomic Energy Agency was not happy with Iran. The agency was critical because Iran did not fully cooperate with inspectors on some matters. After this criticism, Iran made new announcements about its nuclear work. Iran said it would do more nuclear work. Iran announced it would make more enriched nuclear material. This material can be used for power or, at higher levels, for weapons. Iran also said it would build a new nuclear site for enrichment. They also plan to use more modern machines called centrifuges, which can enrich nuclear material faster. These announcements made some countries more worried about Iran's nuclear plans and intentions. So the attack brought the world's attention back to Iran's nuclear program. The question of how close Iran is to nuclear weapons is still a big concern for many countries. People are watching to see what happens next and how it affects peace in the region. The nuclear issue remains a key part of the situation. 8. The path forward. The recent attacks had rapid effects around the world. People saw these changes quickly. One major effect was on the global economy. The price of oil increased very fast after the news of the attacks. It rose by nearly 8%, making many things more expensive for people and countries everywhere. Travel was also impacted. Israel's main airport was closed for a period. This stopped many flights and caused difficulties for travelers. These were immediate signs of the wider consequences. Leaders in many countries were very concerned. They strongly wished to prevent the conflict between Israel and Iran from growing larger. They knew that a wider war could create severe problems for the entire world, not just the Middle East. Because of this fear, leaders from different nations called for calm. They asked both sides to stop fighting and lower the tension immediately. The international community tried hard to prevent more attacks. They discussed ways to make the situation safer for everyone. They understood that more violence could harm many innocent people and make the whole region unstable for a long time. The attacks also caused people to think deeply about the long-term future of the Middle East. Will there be lasting peace, or will there be more conflict and problems? The balance of peace in this area is very fragile. It is easy for disagreements to turn into fighting. Keeping countries and people safe is a big challenge in a region with many old tensions and complex issues. The path forward for the Middle East is not simple to see. It appears uncertain and full of potential dangers and difficulties. This situation served as a strong lesson for everyone watching. It showed how quickly peace can be broken and how fast security can change. In a part of the world that is often unstable, finding the correct way forward is very hard. Leaders must be very careful with their actions and decisions. They must try to find ways to stop the fighting and use diplomacy instead. They must consider the lives of the people and the future stability of the region. The world watched closely, hoping for a peaceful result. The events were a powerful reminder of the dangers of conflict and the great need for talking, understanding, and finding peaceful solutions, rather than fighting and violence. They highlighted the difficult path towards peace in a volatile global environment.